Chapter 36. The Birth of the Eternal Domain. Every moment and character fully explained. Milky Way Scene 1. The Aftermath of Ascension. The world trembled for a full day after Ye Tian's successful ascension to the Saint Domain. The sky above Azure Peak had not calmed. Golden clouds still rolled like a sea of divine fire, and the faint echo of Tao resonated in every direction. Disciples of the surrounding sects, who once doubted him, now knelt in awe. The power of his breakthrough was not merely a step higher. It was the creation of an entirely new cultivation layer. This isn't just a saint's aura," whispered Elder Wei, his old voice trembling. "It's something beyond, something eternal." From the mountain's peak, Ye Tian stood quietly. His robes fluttered in the energy storm, his eyes calm but carrying infinite wisdom. He no longer radiated killing intent. Instead, his very existence balanced destruction and creation, yin and yang in perfect unity. Cross Scene 2. The clone network awakens. In the deep meditation of his soul sea, the 100 clones he had previously cultivated began to glow one after another. Each clone, stationed across realms and worlds, was absorbing celestial chi at terrifying speed. Clone 1, cultivating in the fire abyss realm, mastering pure flame essence. Clone 2, deep in the frozen sky sea, fusing ice law and stillness. Clone 10, inside void ruins, learning the Tao of nothingness. Clone 100, stationed in time rift valley, comprehending the law of temporal reversal. Their connection was no longer just energy sharing. Ye Tian could now feel, think, and act through every clone simultaneously. "Finally," Ye Tian whispered, his eyes glowing faintly, "the clone system has reached the divine unity phase." Every clone could now cultivate independently, and when he commanded it, all their accumulated power could merge into him. This was the birth of the eternal domain, where all parallel existences synchronized into one consciousness, the eternal self. Shooting Star Scene 3. The Meeting of the Three Ancients. Meanwhile, in the void between worlds, 3 supreme beings gathered. 1. Ancestor Voidheart, master of temporal manipulation. 2. Heavenly Saint Yun, wielder of divine sword laws. 3. Primordial Monk Ta, keeper of the universal cycle. They stood around a massive black sphere, an ancient record of cultivation history, which now flickered violently. "The balance has shifted," said Ancestor Voidheart. "Someone has transcended the system of the heavens. He will either become the new law or destroy it." Their gazes turned toward the lower realm, toward Ye Tian. The eternal domain was not just a cultivation breakthrough. It was a rebellion against the foundation of existence. Crystal Ball Scene 4. The Heart of the Domain. As Ye Tian meditated, his body began to dissolve into radiant particles. Each particle represented a law, time, space, death, rebirth, chaos, and order. The eternal domain formed around him, a vast space of rotating galaxies, each galaxy representing one of his clones. At the core floated Ye Tian's true soul, calm, ancient, and infinite. "I am all my selves. My past, present, and future united." The moment he spoke, the galaxy trembled. The eternal domain expanded beyond space and time. Mountains aged and regrew in seconds, rivers reversed flow, and stars flickered in patterns forming his cultivation symbols. High Voltage Scene 5. The System's Warning. Suddenly, a cold mechanical tone echoed in his mind. The system core, the source of his clone technique. "Warning, host power exceeding limit of known cultivation law. Merging with infinite protocol, initiating system evolution." A storm of light surged within his mind. The system interface shattered, only to reform with golden inscriptions written in ancient divine text. New title, Eternal Monarch of All Selves. New feature unlocked, Universal Merge, allows host to merge clones across dimensions infinitely. Ye Tian slowly opened his eyes and smiled. He had broken through the limits of heaven itself. Dove Scene 6. the calm before the next storm. The winds calmed, the celestial thunder vanished, but the world was no longer the same. The cultivators below could sense it. The laws of reality had slightly bent, as if bowing to a higher existence. Ye Tian looked toward the horizon, where the faint outlines of eternal gates shimmered, the rumored gateway to realms beyond creation. The eternal domain is born, but the journey has just begun, he murmured. Beyond the gate, perhaps, my true self waits. The chapter closes with Ye Tian walking slowly into the horizon, the sky golden, the air trembling with Tao rhythm. Behind him, every clone bowed in unison, their forms dissolving into light and merging with his aura. A being of one soul and 100 realities. Diamond with a dot end of Chapter 36, The Birth of the Eternal Domain. Chapter 37, The Eternal Gate opens. Every scene and character fully explained in cinematic detail. Milky Way Scene 1, The Silence Before the Crossing. The world stood unnaturally still. After the formation of the Eternal Domain, not even the wind dared to move near Azure Peak. The mountain that once roared with lightning and divine fire was now shrouded in serene luminescence, as if heaven itself waited. Ye Tian stood at the mountain's summit, his robes flowing gently, his eyes glowing faintly gold. Before him floated a vast circular gate, woven from threads of existence itself, light, shadow, time, and void spiraling together. This was the Eternal Gate, the boundary between creation and precreation, a space no cultivator had ever crossed. Beyond this point, Ye Tian murmured, lies what existed before heaven wrote its first law. His voice echoed through realms. The air shimmered. Even his clones, stationed across countless worlds, grew silent. They all felt it. This wasn't just a journey forward. It was the beginning of a cosmic reckoning. Gear Scene 2, The Eternal Gate's Guardian. As Ye Tian extended his hand, the gate pulsed. A booming sound tore through existence, like a heartbeat of a god. From within the radiance stepped a figure. A man, tall and ancient, with silver eyes that contained nebulae and dark skin engraved with countless runic markings. He was draped in garments woven from space-time fabric, each fold flickering with scenes from different eras. Wars, births, deaths, universes collapsing. Traveler of the Eternal Domain, he spoke, his tone calm yet omnipotent. You have broken the limits of heaven's design. But before entering, answer, who are you when all selves merge into one? The aura around him was crushing. Even Ye Tian's clones trembled across realities. Ye Tian bowed respectfully. I am the sum of all that I've cultivated. The reflections, the errors, the victories. I am the echo of countless lives and the silence that follows them. The guardian smiled faintly, a rare crack in his cosmic serenity. Then prove it. Cross Scene 3, The Trial of Existence. The guardian raised his palm, and instantly Ye Tian's surroundings changed. He was no longer atop Azure Peak. He was standing in the field of forgotten souls, where every cultivator who failed to ascend lay scattered as dust. The sky was gray, the air thick with the echoes of regret. And before Ye Tian appeared countless versions of himself, his past incarnations, each carrying memories of different timelines. One wore the garb of a mortal warrior. Another, a corrupted demonic form with crimson eyes. A third, cloaked in holy light, representing purity and balance. They surrounded him in a perfect circle. You wish to become the eternal monarch, said the corrupted self. But what of the lives you've consumed to climb this far? What of the worlds you burned? Whispered the mortal self. What of the bonds you left behind? Asked the Holy One softly. For a moment, Ye Tian's soul flickered. These were not illusions. They were his real emotional remnants, torn from time itself. But instead of resisting, Ye Tian smiled gently. Each of you is me, fragments of a path walked without regret. You are not my enemies, but my teachers. He stepped forward, his aura expanded, embracing each version. They merged one by one, light merging with shadow, compassion merging with ruthlessness, wisdom merging with madness. The moment the last self merged, Ye Tian's entire being burst into pure golden radiance. From within that light, a calm voice spoke. I am not bound by what I was. I am what I choose to be, eternity itself. The illusion shattered. The guardian bowed slightly. You have passed the trial of existence. The eternal gate acknowledges your essence. Shooting star scene 4, crossing the eternal gate. The gate pulsed once more, splitting into 1,000 spinning rings, each representing a universe. At its center was pure ethereal white light, beyond creation, beyond comprehension. Ye Tian stepped forward. Every step he took, the universe trembled. His clones across all dimensions began to chant in unison. Unity of selves, path beyond heaven, eternal domain open. As he entered the gate, his body dissolved into energy, data of existence being rewritten in real time. He could see the creation of laws, the birth of time, gravity, emotion, and will. He had entered the origin layer, where even gods were born as sparks. Cyclone Scene 5, the realm before creation. Ye Tian emerged into a space without direction. There was no sky, no ground, only a swirling ocean of primordial essence, neither matter nor energy. Every drop of this ocean was alive, whispering the memories of universes yet to come. So this is what existed before heaven, Ye Tian whispered. The source of all Tao. Suddenly, he heard footsteps. From the glowing mist emerged a figure, a woman, graceful and ageless. Her eyes shimmered like twin galaxies. She wore no crown, yet her presence made the cosmos kneel. You finally came, she said softly. The one who can unite all selves, the one fated to either preserve or erase reality. Ye Tian's gaze met hers. And who are you? She smiled faintly. I am the first thought, the consciousness that gave birth to existence itself. In your realm, you would call me Origin Mother. The ocean of essence rippled violently. He realized this was no mere being. This was the first awareness, the seed that started creation. High voltage scene 6, the offer of eternity. Origin Mother extended her hand. A small, glowing sigil hovered above her palm, spinning infinitely. This is the core of the eternal system. Accept it, and you will control every law of creation, every timeline, every destiny. But her tone grew softer, almost sorrowful. However, once you take it, you will cease to be a being. You will become the law itself. You will exist everywhere, but never truly live again. Ye Tian closed his eyes. He remembered the warmth of the mortal world, his companions, the sound of laughter, the smell of rain. And yet, he also felt the endless pull of the Tao, the infinite potential of creation. After a long silence, he opened his eyes, firm, determined. If I must lose myself to protect existence, then let me become the balance that binds all realms. The Origin Mother smiled, gently, proudly. Then, eternal monarch, your true ascension begins. She touched his forehead. A surge of cosmic light consumed him. Sunrise Scene 7, the new dawn. From the void, a single sound emerged, the sound of creation restarting. Galaxies bloomed like flowers. New laws wove themselves into harmony. And at the center of it all, Ye Tian floated, his form now composed of starlight and runes. He was no longer mortal, nor god, nor law. He was the eternal principle, the sentient balance between all that exists and all that will ever exist. This is not an end, his voice echoed through infinite universes, but a new beginning. Diamond with a dot end of Chapter 37, the eternal gate opens. Chapter 38, the pulse of a new cosmos. Every moment and character fully explained. Milky Way Scene 1, awakening in the void. Darkness. Silence deeper than death itself. Then heartbeat. The newly formed cosmos quivered as Ye Tian's consciousness stirred. He floated amid a field of newborn galaxies, each star still dripping molten light, each law still weaving its pattern. His body was translucent, built from runes that flickered between substance and thought. He could feel the spin of atoms, the rhythm of energy, the whisper of souls that had not yet been born. So this is what it means to be the balance, Ye Tian murmured, and the echo of his voice birthed sound across the universe. Every vibration he made became thunder, every breath a nebula's breath. Shooting star scene 2, the first law resonance. From his chest flowed threads of golden light, the pulse of eternity. These threads shot outward, touching the newborn worlds. Where they passed, chaos folded into order. Fire turned into suns, dust became worlds, and stray will became Tao intent. The eternal system, now merged with his very soul, spoke in calm, crystalline tones. System core online. New function, law resonance. All cultivated paths may now coexist without conflict. Initiating multiversal stabilization protocol. Ye Tian raised his palm. A sphere of pure data appeared, representing billions of timelines. Each one pulsed with different futures, some bright, some steeped in ruin. He realized he could touch them all, guide them like a gardener pruning fate itself. Yet his eyes softened. Balance does not mean control. It means giving everything a chance to bloom. With a gentle wave, he released the futures to weave freely, but harmoniously. Gear Scene 3, the return of the clones. Far away, across realities that had survived the ascension shock, Ye Tian's 100 clones awoke. Clone 1 in the fire abyss felt his flames stabilize. He bowed toward the distant void. Clone 42, within the dream realm, saw nightmares turn to serenity. Clone 77, guardian of the mortal world, suddenly heard mortals whisper prayers of hope. All the clones raised their heads at once. Their consciousness threaded together, forming a massive constellation in the night sky, the eternal network. Through them, Ye Tian experienced life again, mortal laughter, sorrow, love, curiosity. Though he was now a concept, these echoes anchored him to emotion. So long as they exist, I am not alone, he thought, smiling faintly. Milky Way Scene 4, the Council of Origins. In the heart of the newborn cosmos, the Origin Mother reappeared, still ageless, her gaze serene. Beside her now stood 3 luminous silhouettes, born from her own essence. 1, Krona, the keeper of time flow. 2, Vera, the weaver of possibility. 3, Kale, the sentinel of endings. Together they formed the Council of Origins, the entities tasked with maintaining creation's rhythm. Origin Mother, the eternal monarch breathes, the multiverse sings in equilibrium. Krona, but equilibrium attracts disturbance, something will rise to test it. Vera, a paradox already forms, those who remember the world before balance. Kale, then the monarch must learn not only to create, but to defend. Their words rippled toward Ye Tian like silent thunder. He understood, every creation births contrast. Light must cast shadow. Even balance requires opposition. Cross Scene 5, Birth of the Paradox. At the edge of existence, where the last fragment of the old universe lingered, a black fissure opened. From within it seeped gray mist, the remnants of abandoned laws that refused to fade. They coalesced into a single consciousness, neither alive nor dead, whispering in forgotten tongues. We were erased, yet we remember. If all becomes one, nothing remains. The mist condensed into a humanoid figure of shifting forms, the paradox entity. Its eyes burned with inversion, darkness within light, silence inside sound. As Ye Tian's first true creation dawned, so too did his first true adversary. Shooting Star Scene 6, Eternal Monarch's Oath. Standing above the newborn constellations, Ye Tian sensed the disturbance. The balance wavered ever so slightly, like a string plucked off-key. He closed his eyes. Within him, countless clones aligned, forming a geometric mandala of energy. Then let it come. For balance to live, even paradox must exist. but I shall ensure it never devours what it seeks to protect. He spread his arms wide. Behind him appeared the sigil of the eternal domain, glowing brighter than any star. A pulse of calm authority swept across reality, steadying every trembling law. The system's new voice, softer, almost human, spoke. Eternal stabilization complete. Next objective, paradox containment. Ye Tian smiled. He could feel destiny stretching infinitely ahead, a tapestry still unwritten. Then the next chapter begins, not as conquest, but as guardianship. The stars responded, shining like a chorus. Time itself seemed to bow. Diamond with a dot, end of chapter 38, the pulse of a new cosmos. Chapter 39, the birth of paradox. Milky Way Scene 1, the whisper through creation. In the newborn cosmos, harmony reigned, until a single discordant note rippled through the fabric of time. Stars flickered, their light trembling. Rivers of spiritual essence twisted backward for an instant. Ye Tian, standing at the heart of the eternal domain, opened his eyes. His gaze pierced countless worlds. Each one shone like a jewel upon the infinite thread of existence. The equilibrium trembles, he murmured. Something that should not be, remembers. At the far edge of creation, within the void where discarded laws decayed, the paradox entity stirred. Yin-yang Scene 2, the formless being takes shape. The gray mist thickened, absorbing echoes of past universes. Every law Ye Tian had balanced, heat and cold, life and death, creation and decay, refused to vanish inside the paradox. Out of that swirling chaos stepped a shape neither male nor female, neither living nor dead. Its body flowed like liquid shadow, its eyes bright as dying stars. I am the memory of imbalance, it said. You erased me, eternal monarch, yet by erasing you gave me purpose. As it spoke, entire minor realms flickered, mountain ranges folding in on themselves, rivers flowing upward. Reality was trying to remember what it had forgotten. Gear Scene 3, the system's warning. Inside Ye Tian's consciousness, the eternal system began to hum. Anomaly detected. Designation, paradox entity, residual law consciousness. Threat level, eternal grade. Recommended response, avatar deployment protocol. Ye Tian's calm voice answered the system. Then begin the protocol. The balance must protect itself through every aspect it governs. Shooting Star Scene 4, the 4 avatars of balance. The runes across Ye Tian's body ignited in 4 colors: gold, silver, blue, and crimson. Each light separated, forming new bodies beside him, his eternal avatars, born from fragments of his infinite self. 1 Lai Shen, avatar of life, emerald-haired, radiant, her touch sprouting galaxies of flora. 2 Noctur, avatar of death, pale-skinned, silent, eyes of onyx absorbing all motion. 3 Chronil, avatar of time, robed in silver threads of flowing clocks. 4 Ceres, avatar of emotion, golden-eyed, every heartbeat shaping light into warmth. They knelt before Ye Tian, their voices harmonizing. We are the 4 faces of balance. Command, and we move. Ye Tian, do not destroy, understand. Paradox is not an enemy, it is the question every creation must face. Still, he extended his hand. Go, prevent collapse, protect the newborn realms. The avatars vanished, each streaking toward a quadrant of the universe. Crystal Ball Scene 5, the first encounter. In the southern realm of Vera's spindle, the avatar of life found the first wound. A sun whose light reversed, draining vitality from the worlds it should have nourished. Within that dark sun, the paradox entity appeared. Balance divides. I unite all into one stillness. You call that unity, Li Shen replied, but it is only silence. Vines of living starlight coiled from her hands, wrapping around the paradox. Yet every vine turned to ash the moment it touched the gray aura. Elsewhere, Noctur felt entire soul streams revering, dead spirits returning to flesh, the living fading into mist. Cronel saw timelines split into impossible shapes. Saris felt emotions collapse into numb void. Across the cosmos, the paradox's influence spread like ink through water. High Voltage Scene 6, Ye Tian's decision. Watching through his avatar's senses, Ye Tian clenched his hand. He could erase the paradox instantly, but doing so would remove every trace of free motion, every uncertainty that gave meaning to creation. Balance must breathe, he whispered. Even perfection needs imperfection to live. He stepped down from the eternal domain for the first time since ascension. The universe brightened. Every law rejoiced at his movement. Paradox, he called across the dimensions, his voice filling every corner of existence. You were born from my shadow. Let us meet, not as master and mistake, but as reflections. The paradox turned its shifting face toward him. Its eyes mirrored his own. Then come, eternal monarch, let creation decide which of us is truth. Sunrise Scene 7, prelude to the eternal duel. Storms of law gathered, galaxies aligned as witnesses. Life and death, time and emotion stood at the edges, their avatars ready. Ye Tian raised his hand, stars bent into sigils. The paradox lifted its own, and light vanished. Two voices, identical infinite, spoke the same words. Let balance prove its worth. The universe inhaled. The eternal duel began. Diamond with a dot. End of Chapter 39. The Birth of Paradox. Chapter 40. The 100th Clone Ascends. The Birth of the Divine Mind. The sky was dark with swirling golden storms of chi. The heavens themselves trembled as Ye Tian stood at the center of a vast cultivation domain, the mirror heaven formation, created by his 100 clones. Each clone floated in the air like a star, emitting a unique aura of power, intelligence, and emotion. Milky Way Scene 1, the final synchronization. Ye Tian closed his eyes. His voice echoed through the boundless space. All clones, begin synchronization. One by one, the clones responded. Clone 1, the strategist. Ready, merging battle memories. Clone 2, the alchemist. Energy conversion rate optimized to 99.3%. Clone 50, the emotionless one. Preparing neural data link to core mind. Clone 100, the divine projection. Activating soul resonance field. Energy threads, silver and golden, linked each clone to the original Ye Tian. The entire dimension began to tremble. The mirror heaven formation spun faster, forming a colossal yin-yang sigil that distorted space itself. Cross Scene 2, the mental overload. As the synchronization began, Ye Tian's brain felt like it was splitting apart. He was now experiencing 100 consciousnesses at once, memories of battle, alchemy, formation, philosophy, and emotions all colliding. He saw flashes of his clones, lives. Clone 3 had trained among volcanoes. Clone 14 mastered an ancient sword art. Clone 55 built a city of cultivators in a dream world. Clone 73 experienced love, betrayal, and loneliness. All their lives were him. I am them, they are me, Ye Tian murmured, his voice trembling. This pain is evolution. Lightning split the heavens, striking the formation. His body cracked like porcelain, glowing from within. Shooting Star Scene 3, the birth of the divine mind. Suddenly, silence. All clones disintegrated into light particles, spiraling toward Ye Tian's body. The space around him became still, time itself seemed to pause. Then a new power emerged. His soul expanded infinitely, spreading through galaxies, stars, and atoms. He had achieved what no mortal had before, divine mind integration, 100 consciousness merge. Each clone's cultivation multiplied the next by a factor of 1. Now, all 100 had merged into one being. The result wasn't 100 times stronger. It was 10,000 times beyond human understanding. From now on, Ye Tian whispered, his eyes glowing with infinity, I no longer cultivate alone. My every thought cultivates itself. A celestial lotus bloomed beneath him, formed from his spiritual energy. It had 100 petals, each representing one clone's essence, the lotus of infinite reflection. Crystal Ball Scene 4, The Heavens Reaction. The heavens raged. Clouds turned crimson, and divine thunder began to fall. The heavenly Tao sensed the birth of something unnatural, a being that could defy causality. Ye Tian, you have overstepped the bounds of reality. A voice thundered from the heavens, the voice of heaven's will itself. But Ye Tian only smiled. His new consciousness had no fear. If reality rejects me, then I will rewrite reality. He lifted his hand, and the falling thunder dissolved before touching him. His divine mind absorbed it, converting tribulation lightning into pure spiritual data. The world witnessed a phenomenon unseen in eternity, a mortal devouring heaven's will. Cyclone Scene 5, The Awakening of the True Clone System. Within his divine mind, the clone system evolved again. A glowing interface appeared before him, showing lines of divine text. System evolution, clone system right arrow cosmic clone codex, Omega. New feature, autonomous clone genesis. Clones now spawn independently, each carrying a fragment of your divine consciousness. Clones will cultivate even in separate timelines and realities. Synchronization bonus, infinite growth potential unlocked. Ye Tian looked at the golden screen and smirked. Now I can truly be everywhere. His body shimmered, splitting into 1,000 divine avatars, each stepping into a different plane of existence. One into the mortal world, one into the spirit realm, another into a timeline where he never existed. The legend of Ye Tian was no longer confined to one universe. He had become the omniversal cultivator. High voltage closing scene, the calm before the infinite. As the clones vanished, the world fell into silence once more. The mirror heaven formation dissolved, leaving only the original Ye Tian floating in the void. His eyes, glowing like twin suns, slowly closed. Stage 1 complete. Next, I shall clone the heavens themselves. And thus, the second era of creation began.